friends, welcome to another episode of Makeup with Elle. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Llajaira. I literally cannot believe that it is already 2020. It's like 20 days into 2020 exactly when I'm filming this, but it has been a crazy year already. For today's video, I actually wanted to do something crazy different from all my other videos, and that is that I wanted to talk about my intentions for my YouTube channel and kind of the videos that I'm going to be creating in the year 2020. This is going to be more of a style of like a get ready with me, so I actually am super excited about you watching this one and seeing how I got this look right here. In this video, I'm going to be using all products that I've used, like my staple products, things that I've used like 50 times, and I want to make sure that you guys see that like I am actually actively using these products, but because I highly recommend them. And so if you can take anything from this, we're going to talk about the products, why I love the products so much, but mostly it's just kind of a hangout, get ready. Like December 31st or the beginning of January, I was really trying to think about how I wanted to take my YouTube channel to the next level, and I really thought about things that I wanted to do and intentions that I had for my YouTube channel particularly. And the first thing that I really put a highlight on was on the fact that I was constantly putting out videos where I was just highly focused on the makeup and the techniques of doing the makeup. I will honestly 100% tell you that when I watched back those videos, like you can't really totally see my personality behind them, just because I was trying to make sure that I was as particular as possible so that I could explain what I was doing, but then I lost my personality in it. So by doing videos like the one you'll see today, I actually wanted to put a little bit more of me, telling you guys stories, telling you guys about who I am as a person, and incorporate my love for Disney as well. Because my love is deeply rooted in Disney, I will continue to use my different Minnie Mouse ears that will inspire my makeup looks, but I honestly just want it to be more about what the look is and how to get to the look and having fun doing it, just because like I am a self-taught makeup artist or a YouTube taught makeup artist, and I know that I am not the like best makeup artist out there. I do try really hard to get better and better as I go through my experiences with makeup, and I really don't want to present myself as like the expert of makeup. So I'm kind of taking a step back and just realizing like, let's have fun, let's do makeup. I'll tell you the things that I've learned and kind of teach you the techniques that I've had to go through so that you don't make the same mistakes that I do. So I really hope that you like the stories that I'll be telling today and in the rest of 2020. I plan on talking about things that got me to loving makeup and why I love each product individually. I want to kind of show and highlight the products that I find that are super user-friendly for beginners, and all that kind of fun stuff. So I really hope that you like this style of video. For today's ears, I am wearing these very pretty red sequin ears. They are from the 2019 Disney Christmas collection. They are also the newest in my personal collection of Minnie Mouse ears that you'll see right behind me. So yes, if you like this look and you want to see how I got it and you want to hear my stories, just continue watching this video. Alrighty, so I'm going to be showing you guys like all of the products that I fell in love with. I'm going to only use products that like I've used about 20 to 50 times, things that I truly love and things I'll grab for when like I'm traveling and stuff, just because I really wanted to use products that I'm very comfortable with so that this could be a nice easy look so that I could just like talk to you guys about stuff and things. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the e.l.f. Putty Primer and I'm going to grab a little bit of that. I'm going to warm it up in my hands and place it on my nose and in that T-zone. And I generally like to have my primer just kind of sit on my face while I'm doing my eyeshadow. It's just like a preference to me, just because I do want it to kind of get the same temperature as my face. That way when I'm putting on foundation, it kind of like blends in very smoothly and seamlessly. The eyeshadow base that I completely fell in love with is the P.Louise base in the shade 0.5. And I basically just take a dot of this on my finger, and this one little dot will work perfectly for both eyes. So I'm gonna, just like with my primer, warm that up in my hand and put that all over my eyelid. I like to use a finger for this, just so that it like warms up onto my eyelid. And then I'll go in with the dry blender and make sure that there's like evenness to it. So blend it in with my finger first. As you can see, that was a lot of product for my eyelids. I'm going to take a dry blender and just kind of go over that. Next, while I'm letting that kind of sit in my eye for a couple of minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the eyebrows. And so while I'm doing my eyebrows, we'll talk a little bit. And so basically, when I thought about my channel in 2020 and thought about like the videos I did in 2019, I thought that they were great and I love recording videos, but I felt like as I watched them, like you couldn't really see like my personality shine through the makeup look that I was doing. And so I want to be very intentional with my videos in 2020, and I want to kind of show you guys who I am a little bit more than just talking straight about the makeup and cutting the video. I found that I got super intimidated about getting the right techniques done, just in case someone who is super hyped about makeup saw the video and decided to critique me. But I also realized that makeup is not something that everybody does exactly the same. So I am no longer worried about someone stumbling on my video and critiquing the crap out of them. And I'm just gonna do my makeup, and some of them will be theme-based, like my videos in 2019, depending on like what Disney movie's coming out or anything like that. But then others will be just kind of hanging out and doing looks and recording things that I love to. It's actually a lot harder to do my eyebrows while I'm talking than I thought, and I should have known that. Lately I have been using the Foolproof Brow Powder. It's not a new product on the market or anything like that. I don't use the brush that it comes with. I actually take a flat brush like this. I don't even know where I got this one from, to be honest, but I am going to use this powder to fill in the areas that are very sparse on my eyebrow. And I just feel like this powder actually makes my eyebrow look a little bit more natural. I just go follow the line of my current eyebrow shape and just kind of brush it right through. I don't necessarily need it to be perfect right now, because after I put on my foundation, I'm a very messy foundation putter-oner. That's not a word. But basically when I'm doing my foundation, I'm pretty messy with it, so it'll get into my eyebrows. So I just want to kind of create the shape and get it where I want, and then I'll fix them towards the end of the video. So if they don't look perfect like throughout the video, that's fine. Now for this makeup look, I was actually super torn about which one of these two palettes were my favorite. It is between the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette, which if you've watched my video or you follow me on Instagram, you know that I love Dominique Cosmetics and I love the Latte palette. I am a coffee lover, and so like it's super inspiring to me. Every time I look at it, I'm like, ooh, I could do something with it. And the Berries and Cream palette, also by Christine Dominique or Dominique Cosmetics, and I think I'm gonna do the Berries and Cream palette. I don't think it has shown up as much on my channel, although anytime I'm doing like an everyday look or if I'm traveling, this is the one I kind of grab for. And the reason why I do, and you'll see that my palette is very well loved and very well used, especially some of these like more neutral colors. But the reason why I'm going to use this palette in the video is because it is my 2019 favorites, and like all of these colors are things that I naturally gravitate to literally every day. So I'm going to do a smoky eye using the Berries and Cream palette. Now that that base is very well set on my eyelid, I kind of left it a little bit too long when I did my eyebrows. I am going to go in with the lightest shade in the palette right over here, and I'm going to place that all over my lid. It has a little bit of like a reddish undertone to it, but I kind of like it because it just gives it like a nice flush to the eyelid. So I'm like in love with making this color my first transition shade, and I bring that all the way up to my eyebrow. Like I said, I'm going to do a easy quick look just because these are products that I'm very used to. Like I pull them out of my drawer more often than not, so I'm super comfortable with the way these eyeshadows blend. It's kind of hard for me not to talk about like the angle of my hand in this video and stuff, but that's not what we're here for. That's not what we're here to do. So a fun story that I also thought about when I was thinking about creating this channel was to talk about like what even started me in like buying makeup and doing my makeup and wanting to learn. I am a self-taught or YouTube taught makeup artist. I didn't teach myself. I looked at tons of YouTube videos and like learned how to do things. I'm not saying that I am the best makeup artist ever. There are things that I totally need to grow and learn and do. However, I do think that I've gotten so much better from this story that I'm about to tell you just because it's funny. But in 2017, we moved to Seattle, Washington, and it was the first time that me and Eric lived together. I like get distracted talking and doing my makeup because I love to talk. but I also love makeup. I don't know. Anyway, so we moved to Seattle, Washington in 2017, and I had not even owned like a piece of makeup, not a single piece of makeup, whatever. Like I would roll out of bed, barely do my hair, and go to work. And I thought I was okay looking for, you know, that circumstance. However, when I lived in Phoenix before that, there was a specific person I went to get my eyebrows done. And when I lived in Houston, same thing. Like I created bonds with my eyebrow people, and like I was very particular about how I liked my eyebrows being done. But I remember very specifically in 2017, don't remember the date, I went to get my eyebrows done and I went to get them waxed, and I told the lady that I wanted them to be just cleaned up. If you get your eyebrows done, you know that that means I don't want anything else touched except for the extra hairs growing around my perfect eyebrow. And the lady's like, yes, okay, cool. So I lay there, and the wax, like I felt like it was hurting more than usual. So like I felt like there was something wrong. Actually, I'd like to say I felt it, but I really didn't. It did hurt a lot that day though. But when the eyebrow lady showed me my eyebrows, I literally wanted to cry. Like they were the thinnest, most 90th eyebrows I have ever seen in my life. Now, I used to get my eyebrows done that thin, and I just have like this complex with my eyebrows and them being perfect just because I was picked on in high school. But that's a different story for a different time. I literally wanted to cry in front of this eyebrow person. I was gonna break down right in front of her. But I am a very nice person, so I paid her and I moved myself along. Thankfully, my house was only like 2 blocks away. So I got home, and like the first thing I did was like stare at myself in the mirror and tell Eric how much I hated my eyebrows. They were like just a line of eyebrow. So then I went to Target, which is also walking distance, and bought my first ever eyebrow product, and it was a eyebrow pumice. I don't know if I'm saying that right. To draw in my eyebrows. I believe Eric still has a picture of that specific time in my life. But it was not good. It was really bad. I just took Toasted in the palette here. It is a cool toned like brownish gray shade right here. I'm like awkwardly holding 2 brushes and a mirror. And I just placed that right over the original Soft and Sweet, which was the original color. And now I'm gonna take the same brush that I'd used Soft and Sweet with, not adding more product to it, and just like blending that out together. So this is a time where I like fully considered like doing makeup, like fully, just like a full face of makeup, because she messed up my eyebrows. Now, because I had to draw my eyebrows in so much, like I decided to buy some foundation and I decided to get some more eyeshadow. Like I was doing eyeshadow but just a solid color on my eye before, which did not look good, I think. And no one told me that it didn't look good. And so I was just doing like eyeshadow and that's it on my face. But after this situation happened, I decided like I need to learn. I need to make sure that I'm prepared and ready for absolutely anything. My first ever palette that I purchased was this guy right here, the Latte palette. And I just felt like, so I logged into YouTube, and Dominique was the first YouTuber that I started watching, and that's when I got into like what products to use, like what is good, like what's good drugstore brands, what's like a good high-end brand, like, and I started experimenting with things that she recommended, like a good mascara and things like that. And then when she came out with her makeup line, I just felt like it was perfect. My favorite YouTuber came out with a palette that had like my favorite theme. If I was gonna create a makeup line, it'd be coffee related for sure. Like 100% coffee related. Moving on to my makeup, I'm gonna take Chocolate Mousse. It's like this deep brown color in the palette, and I'm just going to place that on my eyelid. I feel like the brush I'm using right now is a little too big for it, but we're gonna go with it. So right now I'm just dabbing that in. We're doing a smoky look, if you can't tell already. And then I'm going to wipe that all over my eyelid. So yes, that was my first interaction with like a full face of makeup, was to kind of counteract the disaster that was my eyebrows, and I wasn't good at it in any way, shape, or form. And I would just continuously practice. I remember I saw this girl at work and her eyeshadow was always super flawless, and she, after talking to her and asking her how she did magic on her face, she asked me to bring in like all my brushes, and she went and told me step by step which brush to use for what, so I love her for that. And then I just literally like practiced so much and literally fell in love. Like makeup is so awesome and I love it so much, but I also love to talk. That's why I created my YouTube channel. So basically I'm just taking chocolate mousse and deepening up my lid, but because I feel like the chocolate mousse came up a little bit too high, I'm going back into that original pink. It's called Soft and Sweet. It has a name. And I'm going to blend that in so that I get a gradient type of look. So yeah, that's the story of how I got into makeup, and it's super relevant to this because like I feel like when people find my videos for the first time, they're like, oh, that's a cute idea. She's wearing Minnie Mouse ears and I do my makeup and I'm okay at it. I'm not the best. So in 2020, I'm going to talk to you guys more in my videos. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I am going to tell more stories, hang out a little bit more, have a little bit more fun, and just do my makeup. And there will be tutorials and I will go in depth in some cases. I will do specific looks when Disney movies come out because that's my thing. But yeah, my eyes are getting a lot darker. We are going to take a brush with no product on it and then blend like crazy. Because it's a smoky eye, it's not meant to be like super precise or anything. That's why I love smoky eyes, but I also don't want to look like a raccoon, so that's not intentional. Next we are going to move on. I know I look crazy right now, but we are going to move on to eyeliner, and I have two favorite eyeliners that I don't know which one I'm going to use just yet. The first is the Hank & Henry black eyeliner, and the other is the BFF liquid, I was going to say mascara because there is a mascara to it, but a BFF liquid liner from ColourPop, and I love these both so much. They are both super black. They kind of wear all day, both of them do, and I literally love both of them. Like when I travel, I throw both of them into my travel case. I'm gonna use the Hank & Henry eyeliner. We're gonna do it. We made a decision. I will be right back. Alrighty, so I did my eyeliner off camera. It's not perfect, but that's okay. It is a smoky eye, so I'm not like completely upset. I am going to take that mocha color that's left on my brush and I'm going to brush over the eyeliner just because I want it to be a little bit more intentional than I messed up, I guess, and smoke it out a little bit. Perfect. So I'm just doing like final touches right up here. And the last thing I'm going to do on my eyelids is I'm going to take another brush, going into my latte palette. I am going to take this shade Vanilla Cream and Caramel together, and I'm going to place that right above where I just smoked out that color, right on my brow bone. So I want that to be a little bit lighter. I want that gradient to show just a little bit more lightness to my eyebrows to give it more of that gradient, intentional look. And we are moving on to the base. So my absolute favorite, and it wasn't my favorite when I first got it, just because when I first started doing makeup, I liked a little bit more of a matte look. So I like the matte finish foundations. However, lately I have been really digging like a more natural or a more glowy look on my face. I had a really hard time figuring out whether or not I had oily skin or dry skin or like what the heck my skin was doing. And so I do have combination skin and I didn't know what that meant. And for me that means that like the insides of my face get pretty dry, while like on my eyelids right over here it gets a little bit more oily. I get like pimples around my chin, stuff like that. So I love this foundation because it's like medium to high coverage depending on how you build it up, but I really like how it looks on my particular skin. That doesn't mean that you're gonna love it for yours, but I'm just gonna take 2 pumps of that, and I'm going to take my handy dandy beauty blender and kind of pounce that into the foundation and just put dots all over my face. I don't think there has ever been a time where I was doing my makeup and didn't get makeup in my hair, but we're gonna try our best not to. But you'll see this foundation like same color as my skin. I don't know how it does that because I've had this like in the winter and the summer and somehow it just matches perfectly all the time. But there are times where I want like a soft coverage where like I just want it to cover the redness on my face, and other times I want full coverage, so I'll go in with another layer of this foundation and it still looks so good. I have read so many reviews on this foundation and it made me realize that like for makeup specifically, reviews aren't necessarily always the best thing unless you know that a particular person has the same skin tone and the same like complexion as you, that you know whether they're dry or, you know, oily, or, you know, tons of factors going on their face. Like, you don't know whether a foundation will work for you until you physically try it. And so I read some pretty poor reviews on this particular foundation, and I literally grab for it all the time. Like, this is my traveling foundation. So you see, I just added a second layer to my face, and it doesn't look crazy cakey. I still need to kind of get that out of certain places. And you'll also see I do get that into my eyebrow quite a bit. But I love the way that this looks. So for concealer, I have two amazing concealers. And I tend to do that a lot, where I just don't like know which one I like more than the other. I have the Benefit Boi-ing Concealer, and then I have the Kylie Concealer. I feel like they're both very similar. They're both super lightweight. The Kylie Concealer is just a little bit more lighter in weight. Like, it doesn't feel like you're putting too much on the face. This one is the Boi-ing Concealer, and I use that to lighten up under my eye. I tend to put a lot under my eye because I do have really dark circles. And unless I'm color correcting, like, it shows through everything. So you'll see me put quite a bit of this concealer on. And then the Kylie Concealer in the shade Gypsum. Gypsum, that's the name of it. It's called Gypsum. And I use this because it is a little bit more closer to my skin tone, but also light. And I like this because it balances off like the yellowness of the Benefit. But both of these colors and the two concealers together are like my perfect combination. So I'm just going to press that underneath my eye, kind of bring that right along the bottom of the wing, clean up underneath my eyelid. And I'm going to take that right down my face because it's not crazy brighter than my skin tone right now. In areas that I want more full coverage, like this spot right here, you just put a little bit more in there. I love both of these concealers because they don't really dry down too quickly, and other concealers really do. So it's easy for me to kind of play around with these concealers, and they literally work so perfectly together. I'm using the rest of the product to get into my smile lines, so right down the sides of my mouth and right underneath my chin. Next, I am going to set underneath my eyes. I tend to set underneath my eyes very quickly after I put concealer on, just because my eyes do crease a lot. And they are very dark, so I make sure that I set those really fast after putting that concealer on, because while I'm talking and while I'm just kind of doing the rest of my makeup, they do tend to crease way more than I want them to. I'm using the Kylie powder in the shade Pink, and it just adds extra brightness underneath my eye that I definitely need. I'm not going to set the rest of my face just yet, just because like I don't need it just yet, and we're going to go ahead and contour and do all that kind of fun stuff. But we'll get back to the rest of the face. I was very deathly afraid of contour specifically. Like, I thought that it had to be perfect, you had to draw a specific shape on your face. I realized very quickly that you really didn't. I'm going to be using the Too Faced Bronze Peach to contour, and I think it's meant to like go on like a powder, but it does go on a little bit more creamier than a powder would. And I just like the way that this particular shade looks on my face. So I use this product so much that it literally it literally falls out of the pan every time I use it. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to just shape the side of my face. And I like this because it's not too orange. It is like a more cool toned bronzer, as you can see on my face. And I'm just going to kind of buff that out right underneath where I put the baking powder. I also like to take it right down the side of my face here. But yeah, when I started doing contour, I really thought that it had to be super precise, and I thought that when girls drew the lines on their faces and there were diagrams on like Pinterest and YouTube and Instagram everywhere, like that there were specific places I needed to put them on. So I was constantly trying to follow people doing their contour, but they didn't have the same face shape that I did. And so I was just constantly just trying to put my contour way higher than it needs to be or lower than it needs to be, depending on those diagrams, and I just learned that it didn't look good on me. And those are the kinds of things that I want to talk about on my channel, is like, not even like Dominique that I talk about a lot has the same face shape as me. So like, she's not going to be putting her eyeshadow in the same place that I do, which is what a lot of tutorials kind of hint at, is like put the eyeshadow here and blend this way or blend that way, and that's not necessarily the case. So I do want to kind of highlight that. I then take this brush and squeeze it and then contour my lips. So close my mouth and kind of take that right through my lips to add some more dimension to my no lips. Now to set that contour, I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is such a great bronzer and I love the way that it smells. Almost everybody does. But it's a great bronzer because it's super light. It doesn't really like have like a darkness to it, which it sets whatever contour I'm using really perfectly. But what I like the most about it is that like you can build up this bronzer a lot and it sets that contour that you have on your face so perfectly. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of cleaning up. I did take my contour a little bit too far on my face. So I'm taking the end of that blender and just kind of cleaning up that line right there. I'm going to grab just a tiny bit more powder on my big brush here. And I don't want a lot, I just want to set the rest of my face. We are almost done here. We have just like a couple more steps to do. We are moving on into blush. And blush is one of those things that I thought like would look really weird on my face. But I realized that just looks so much better with like a flush of color right on the cheeks. And I take my blush everywhere now, like all over my cheeks, right down on my chin. I even take it up on my forehead where I want to add just a little bit more color in there. But like the bronzer did a good job, but like I want to add just a tiny bit more. I'm running out of this one. This is the shade Party with a couple extra A's. It was sent to me in an Ipsy, which I have used the heck out of it. I almost hit pan on it, which I'm excited about, but also not excited about. Next, I'm going to use highlighter, and this is the Ofra highlighter in the shade Rodeo Drive. I go back and forth between this and my Prismaglow all the time, but if we're talking about like a go-to travel with highlighter, which I just made this a travel with because I constantly say I'm traveling with it, like I grab this and throw it in my bag. This is the one I go for just because I don't want to like ruin the Prismaglow palette. Like I have traveled with it in the past, but lately this is the one I've kind of been gravitating towards, and it is super shiny. I'm gonna go ahead and set my face using the MAC Fix Plus, another absolute favorite, not only in 2019, but I started using it in 2018 and it is amazing. If Fanny was alive today, she would be helping me out, but I actually don't know where Fanny is. My first video of 2020 and Fanny's missing. What do I do? For mascara, I actually like to use a cocktail of mascaras. Like I use multiple for different things. And my 3 current favorites, which 2 of them came to me in an Ipsy, one of them I have repurchased because I completely ran out, is the BFF mascara from ColourPop, the Il Makiage mascara, I don't know if it has a name, oh, Icon, and the Trestique, that's actually a cool name, mascara, which it has this really cool like thing, what do you call this? Curler? It has a, wow. It has a curler to it, and so I don't necessarily use the curler, but I do like the wand and the mascara that comes out of it. And I do my mascara after I set my face, just because I tend to spray my face directly after mascara and it kind of runs all over my face. I don't love using waterproof mascara just because it stays on my eyelids way too long, and taking it off is just such a pain. But let me talk to you about why I use these 3 specific different ones. And it all comes down to not only like the kind of mascara that it is, but the wand too. Like the Il Makiage, I actually use this wand here to get into my lower lashes. And so it's perfect for that. It doesn't necessarily touch my face when I do that. And then these 2, the Il Makiage mascara wand and the BFF mascara wand, are kind of similar in that it's thick and then it gets skinnier and then it gets thick again. And I like that for my upper lashes to create volume and to separate my lashes. I'll also take the Il Makiage one and kind of brush it through the top ones too to separate them a little bit more. But I feel like using multiple different wands and mascaras helps you really build the volume that you want. I forgot to do my lower lash line, which I will do right this instant. I'm just going to take in the Latte palette the color Chocolate Mousse, and I'm going to kind of put that on my lower lash line. I make the weirdest face when I do this specifically and when I put on mascara, so I just want to bring that smokiness to the bottom lash line and make it not so like blank. I feel like my face looks empty when I don't do my lower lash line. I'm going to take the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On eyeliner pencil in the shade brown, and I'm going to line my lower lash line. That's because I do want it to be darker and I don't want it to stand out too much as like not being done. And I don't like using black on my lower lash line just because it's a little bit too dark. I want this to look a little bit more natural on that lower lid. So what I'm gonna do first is my lower lash line. I can't even remember when the first time I put mascara on, but I was terrified of this thing. And I never put it on my lower lashes. Like, I did all my makeup above my eyelid, nothing underneath, because my eyes are super watery, and so if you have that problem, you're probably as terrified to put makeup on your lower lash line as anyone else. I feel like I should put a waterproof mascara underneath my eye, but I just don't. Next, I'm going to start off with my BFF mascara. And then the last step, the final step, and my last story. Promise it'll be as quick as I possibly can get it. So my last step is lipstick, and fun story about lipstick in particular. I never used to wear it. I only wore lip gloss, and the reason why is because I actually have super tiny lips. It has been an area in which I have been self-conscious for many years, where like when I put on lipstick, I just felt like you just couldn't see it. And so lipstick was one of those things that I just kind of stayed away from, like no dark lipstick. I never lined my lips, anything like that. As I started to do my makeup like a full face of glam, I realized that my lips looked really weird with no lipstick on them. So I kind of learned how to do it, and I overlined my lips quite a bit. So I'm gonna do that really quickly and then we'll be back. So I went ahead and lined my lips. I used a Morphe pencil in the shade Clingy. That speaks to me on so many levels. And now I'm going to use the shade Praline from the e.l.f. collection. I just feel like this color is super pretty. It's like more on the like brownish pinkish side. And I feel like these look super pretty together. So as you can see, like when I'm wearing dark lipstick, my lips look so much more full than when I'm not wearing lipstick, and I never realized that I could do that, or I never had the confidence really to do that. But as I've kind of played around with makeup just a little bit more, I've gotten more comfortable with like what I can do and can't do, or like how precise my line is on my lips. I can tell you I've walked out of the house so many times with just like a wrinkly underlip, and that's how you learn. That's kind of what you have to do. So this is it. This is my final look. I really actually love the style of video that we did today, just kind of putting myself out there and talking more about me. If you follow me on Instagram, it's Llarysalazar. You'll know that I have what we call Llajaira updates, and I talk a lot more about what's happening during the week and in my life, and I feel like I should translate that personality and who I really am to my YouTube videos so that, you know, we get more acquainted and you know a little bit more about me. So I really liked just kind of chatting with you, no pressure doing my makeup, because I feel like this makeup look turned out so pretty. Like, I absolutely love it. This is a look that is super easy for me. It took longer for me to do today just because like I was talking through it, but I feel like if I sat down right here to do my makeup for, say, church or to go out, like this is the look that I would do, just because it's something like my favorites of 2019, things I throw in my travel bag or throw in my purse. Sometimes they get left in my car a little bit longer than they should, but I collected all of those things just to put in this video. And so like this color profile and the way that I look right now is like my ideal makeup look. If you like this look and you want to see more like it, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button. Comment down below if you have any ideas of things you'd like to see me do in 2020. Or if you want to see me wear any of these ears specifically. I plan on doing like a mix of like these kind of chat with me, get ready with me's, and just kind of themed type looks. So I'm super excited of what's to come. I don't have it fully planned out yet, but we will see. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and spending the time to listen to all of my stories. I have a ton more for you, but I truly appreciate you spending the time here. I love you so much. Bye.